Hey guys, happy Friday. I want to take a minute and just chat for a second about what the hell happens when we get a referral. So, all of a sudden, hey, realtor says, call Bob Smith. He's expecting your call, and I think we've got a deal here. He wants to buy a house, and seems like they're pretty well qualified. Okay, so most of you have heard me mention PAIL. So we're going to talk for just a minute about PAIL. If you're deeply familiar with it, please watch the video anyway, because I think it's going to help you in continuing to refine your line of questioning and the tools that you have in your toolbox. So P, the first P, is personal and property really at the same time, okay? So personal background would be, guys, when are you planning on moving? Do you have an idea of how much you're looking to spend? What's your comfort payment? What payment would you be comfortable with? What are you spending currently? Are there any co-borrowers on the loan? Do you have a geographic area that you're looking in? So things about them personally and things about the property as well. The A, very simply, guys, A, assets. And I'm not talking about cars and boats and stamp collections. I'm talking about money in the bank, okay? So the way I do this, very simply, I'm going to say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, who do you bank with? And they say, oh, well, Wells Fargo and Bank of America. Okay, awesome. Ballpark, what's your approximate ending balance in each account? And if you can tell they're like trying to log into their banking app or something like that, stop them. You want to keep this conversation fast and you want to keep it moving because your time is valuable. So just ask them, hey, give me the approximate ending balances. Round numbers is fine, because obviously as we move forward, we're going to get bank statements and we're going to refine that information. You're just looking right now in PAIL to see if you have a deal, okay? So then you're going to ask, let's say they come back and they've got $8,000 total. Well, $8,000 probably not enough for most transactions. So at that point, I'm going to ask them politely and maybe with a little bit of a joke on it. I'm going to say, hey, let me ask you, as we're talking about assets, do you have a rich Uncle Henry who maybe is going to be willing to or able to give you a gift for some additional funds if they were needed? I'm not going to tell them they need more money, but I'm going to just say if they were needed, right? And then I'll make a little joke and say, if you do, let me know if he's adopting because, I'm always available to the highest bidder. Something like that, because this is a sensitive topic, right? And so people can get tense about that. You're also going to ask, do you have retirement accounts, brokerage accounts, any other accounts? And then, of course, always ask about what we would call mattress money, and explain it to them. Do you have any funds that aren't deposited? Any funds sitting in the coffee can in the backyard, or however you want to put it? But you need to check about that, and then you need to give them instructions. Do not deposit that money until we have a strategy for it, because that can foul the account. That can damage your ability to qualify, okay? And mention to them that's because of anti-money laundering laws, and it's a federal government requirement, okay? Now, the I in PAIL is income, and we're going to establish that 2-year history, okay? So if they have multiple jobs, multiple career changes, that sort of thing, think of this like you're building a resume, starting with the most recent position dates to the next position dates and the next position dates, and each of them ask how were they paid. Sometimes, listen, if you say W-2 or 1099 or that sort of thing, sometimes people don't know. So just ask it like this. Did they take taxes out of your pay, or did you have to pay your taxes separately? Okay, so drill down into their current pay. Current pay is, of course, the biggest, most important factor in this process. So we want to identify, are there any gaps in that 24-month period, any employment gaps? And then as you're looking at their income initially, don't count bonus, overtime, and commission income until we can verify that. And I think everybody should know by now, if I've got bonus and overtime or commission income on a W-2 employee, I need to get some extra some extra pay stubs. So I'm always going to ask for 30 days worth of pay stubs for the current pay period, right? For the current year to date, but also ask for last year and the year before. So 2 years, the final pay stub that they received during that year with the whole year's worth of income on it and explain to them, I need that so I can average and calculate your overtime income, or I need that so I can average and calculate your bonus or your commission income. Okay, so you're always going to need those extra pay stubs, if those year-to-date pay stubs for 2020 and 2021, if your borrower has overtime, bonus, or commission income. Never count those forms of income without verifying them first. Obviously, if they are self-employed, immediately request 2 years of tax returns, all pages, all schedules. And if they file for business taxes, ask for the business tax return as well. Guys, you cannot estimate or guess self-employment income without those tax returns. They don't know how much they made. I promise you, they don't know how much they made. So the last thing in PAIL is the letter L, and that's for liabilities. And really, there's liabilities and credit. So first, establish their payments. So John and Mary, hey, do you have a car payment, or do you have car payments? Always ask the approximate balance and the current payment. Same on credit cards. Ask, if they have a student loan. So a lot of times student loans, they may be deferred and your borrower isn't thinking about that student loan. So ask them, if you have a student loan, even if it's deferred, Mr. Smith, I need to know the balance of the student loan. Do you have furniture loans or anything like that? Have you co-signed for anybody on a car or a house or anything like that? And then ask, please, lately this is more of a concern, of course, ask if there's any loans that are in forbearance or were in forbearance. Add up the number of the payments, the balance of the payments, and that's your approximate liabilities, right? So you can do a pencil pre-qual. You have their basic income and their basic liabilities. Now we can do a pencil pre-qual, just to have an idea, and we'll talk more about how to do that in the next video. But the last thing we're going to do is you're going to ask about their estimated credit score, and I would ask, where's that coming from? So if you say, hey, Mr. Smith, you have an idea of what your credit looks like, and he says, yeah, I think it's in the mid-6s. Okay, awesome. Where's that from? Oh, Credit Karma. Well, guys, don't tell him this, but Credit Karma is often not accurate, of course, for mortgage credit reports. So just keep in mind when you write down, 650, I put in parentheses Karma right after it, so I know when I look at it later, there's a concern or a question about his credit that we're going to need to find out when we pull credit. Okay, so PAIL, PAIL. I highly recommend that you comfortably practice this. Get to the point where it rolls off your tongue, where you know the questions, and it's a script where you know the questions. I'm going to drop in the WhatsApp group this video and a PAIL, kind of a PAIL tutorial, and just read it, practice it, and make sure that when you make those notes, you put your PAIL notes and just label the document PAIL. Put your PAIL notes in the Google Drive under your borrower's name, so that I can help look at it with you as you're moving through your process. Okay, guys, have a wonderful day. Happy Friday. Bye.